Welcome. This is another in a series of videos with Aubrey Daniels from Aubrey Daniels International, based on the book Oops, Management Practices That Waste Time and Money and What to Do About Them. In this video, we're going to talk about motivation and the ways that managers demotivate without realizing it. Aubrey, you're doing a great job, but that's the way that managers tend to, and they do that but because they don't want you to think that you're doing the best that you possibly could.
Yeah. Well, the whole idea of you did a good job, but many people think, when I talk to them, they say, well, I use positive reinforcement all the time. Well, if you do that, then go to the performer later and say, did you get any positive reinforcement from your boss today? And I'll guarantee you, 99 times out of 100, they'll say, no, I didn't.
Okay, but a manager who knows what the outcome is supposed to be of a project or whatever goes in, gives the feedback to the employee because they want to motivate him, and they say, you know, this part of it was really good. Nevertheless, there was a part of it that needed to be improved or wasn't done well.
Yes.
So?
Well, what I think you do is you say, hey, you did a really good job on this. You got it in on time, and it's really concise. It's really what I wanted. Thank you very much. Let some time pass. And then go back and say, I was thinking about this last night or this afternoon, and here's something I think next time you do this, if you did it this way, it would be better. Now, most people receive that as helpful. When you did a good job, but it's always criticism. So the one is much better than the other. Let some time lapse, even if you go down the hall and turn around and come back. Even if you hang up the phone and call back again and say, hey, I was thinking about this some more. What if we did this? What do you think about that? Well, maybe that'd be a good idea.
There's a statistic in the book that I heard many years ago interviewing Fran Tarkenton, who said exactly the same thing. And he used 4 to 1. So go. 4 to 1 what?
Well, Fran and I used to be business partners, and
did not know that. Really?
That's where he got that.
Is that Are you serious? Wow.
But early on, as I was working with managers about helping them use positive reinforcement, they would want, well, how much should I do, and should I use negative consequences? And so I looked into research to see what I could find, and what I found was that Becker and Becker at Florida State, in working with teachers, found that teachers who had a ratio of 4 positives to 1 negative had better discipline and better achievement in classes. And also Richard Stewart, who was working with delinquents, found that in delinquent families, the best ratio was about 1 to 1, where the positives and negatives were about even. But when you looked at non-delinquent families, it approached 4 to 1. So we kind of used that as sort of a range of looking at your interaction, not with a single person, but how do I do? It's feedback to me in terms of how I'm doing today. You know, is my ratio, and in other words, am I more on the negative side than the positive side? There's hardly a workplace in this country where there are not more positive things occurring every day than negative things. And so if you end up with more negatives than positives in a day, then you're probably doing something wrong.
Read something online that if you smile, your body physiologically, psychologically, you'll be in a better mood. I'm wondering if the same thing is true here, that if this feeds on itself, that if the management and the culture of the organization is positive, that it feeds on itself.
It absolutely does. I mean, I think, physically you go home feeling better at night, for one thing, than you would have, had you been grumbling all day and you've been looking for things that are wrong. It's not that we ignore poor performance or things that could be done better. The issue is, how do we address it? You see, if we begin to positively reinforce people for what they're doing well, they want to do more things well. And that begins to take care of some of the things that are not done well, because we spend more of our time doing things that pay off.
Okay, let me ask you, when you got a project that fell apart, that was a disaster, you didn't get the business, or if you delivered the product, it was just riddled with problems. Management circles back around after that event is finished and does what?
Well, what you want to do is to look what you did well, in addition to what can we do to improve next time. So rather than being critical of what we did, we want to say, here's our opportunity to improve. And rather than point fingers at people and you didn't do this, you didn't do that, to say, okay, that's already done. What can we do now to make sure that next time we do it better? And when you do that, people are more energized by that than the typical event where we sit and we critique what we've done. The whole word critique is not really what we're trying to do. We're trying to figure out how to do this better. And I think if you go in with that attitude, you get a much better response.
Aubrey, thank you. This is another in a series of videos from Aubrey Daniels International based on the book Oops, Management Practices That Waste Time and Money and What to Do Instead. Available now online at aubreydaniels.com.